Now, today I wanted to talk about several different topics. One of the topics, and the first one would be one of the recent Q&A questions with the developers. They talked about adding new sub-capital ships. Now let me read the specific question and the specific answer, because I found it to be rather interesting, because we all expected Titans to appear in August, but by the looks of it, Titans might not appear on the game's anniversary, and that is kind of surprising, because a couple months ago, back when we had the Ask Me Anything event with the developers, they specifically said that they planned to release Titans on the game's anniversary. But let me read what they said real quick. Alright. Hello, are there any plans in the future for faction dreadnoughts or dreadnought specific modules, much like the combat modules for the existing carriers and super carriers or super capitals? And reply: thank you for your question. At the moment, we don't have any plans to develop faction dreadnoughts in the short term. Our focus is currently on introducing non-capital ships. However, as we continue to release more new ships, we will definitely come back to a capital ship version in the future. So, what does this mean? Now, at first, I kinda chuckled at the first time I read this, because, well, a super capital is technically not a capital, right? Well, so they might be hinting at that, but they said specifically non-capital ships, and super capitals are technically capitals, so this means that the Titans will not make an appearance. Now, I'm one of the players who was waiting for faction dreadnoughts. I was waiting for the Chemosh, but looks like the Chemosh is not going to be released anytime soon, which is fine. I'm personally fine with that, because I would love to have the other sub-capitals in the game. Perhaps we will find out more info on the upcoming ships in the next couple weeks. After all, the anniversary of the game is coming closer and closer. Now, I also wanted to talk about the Stratios and the Nestor. Now, since I am slowly preparing myself for wormholes, a perfect wormhole ship is going to be a Stratios or an Astro, but in the end I believe any cover-top ship can do the job, but sister thief ships are the best for the purpose. Now, I thought about getting a Nestor for wormhole specific stuff, or wormhole specific contents, since I do believe that wormholes are around the corner. Now, I haven't bought a Nestor yet, however the price is 9.8 billion and there is only one Nestor on the market right now. So if wormholes are a thing, and well, when wormholes are a thing and when they are released, the Nestor will be a very important ship, because it has a very small mass and it's one of the only Bella ships that can easily go within the wormholes and, you know, do wormhole stuff. Now, the Nestor as of now doesn't really have any cover-tops capabilities, and in EVE Online it doesn't have any cover-tops capabilities as well, but I believe that the Nestor will be changed and they might give a roll bonus on the ship that will give it a cover-tops cloak device. So the Nestor might be a cloaky Bella ship in the future, so hopefully the ship's price is not going to skyrocket anytime soon, but when wormholes are announced, then that would be the time where I would probably buy a Nestor. But I might buy one for PvP. After all, I have some good drone skills and have a bombarding plant that can deliver some very nice DPS. Now, today I'll be using the Stratios for scanning. No, the Astro is definitely the way to go if you like to do exploration, because, you know, it's a frigate, it's small, it's fast, and it can do the job really well. Now the Stratios has some advantages over the Astro. Now, the first advantage is it has 4 medium slot modules, so you can easily add the scanners, the blue scanner, the analyzers, and you can have one slot for the red scanner or basically any other module that you like. Now the red scanner is good because it can allow you to scout the system to see what everyone is doing, so that you can decide whether it's safe to explore or if it's not safe to explore. In this video I'll be using the Stratios with the scanner. Now I also do carry a PvP build within the cargo hold. I have triple scramblers, triple webs, a afterburner, and a damage control. Basically, if I find a good target, I can dock, change the build, and go and engage a target. Basically, you can go and do PvP and exploration at the same time with the Stratios. Now, the other advantage is it has some decent DPS. The Stratios with the drone bombing plant can have around 4,500 DPS on average. I have about 3,500, which is still pretty good. And I have 1,113.96 gold DPS. Of course, I'm using the more expensive drones, because this is, after all, a PvP ship primarily, but it also has a very nice use for scanning. And since we will be doing some other stuff very soon, I also plan to do some null space exploration and other null space combat, so an Astro or a Stratios are definitely going to be very useful for that. So cannot wait to actually start roaming around in null again. I actually missed that. Now I have a micro warp drive, a repairer, a drone damage amplifier, and of course a cover top clocking device. Now there are some drawbacks for using the Stratios. The Stratios is slow. This is one of the slowest cruisers in the game. It has a good tank, but it is very slow, so that's something that you should keep in mind. And of course, this is my PvP Astro, so it has some DPS rigs and it has one gravity capacitor upgrade. Now this does help at improving the scanners. Minimum scanner is 73.31, which means that it can scan literally everything, so you will not miss out on the sites. And I would say the Stratios might very well be one of the best cruisers for exploration. It can also be kind of classified as the best PvP cruiser, although it is mostly used to tackle stuff, to tackle ships in low sec, although it can also be used to hunt other explorers in low sec and in null sec. This is something that I'll be doing very soon as well. But overall, the Stratios has a very wide usage, and it is one of the most fun to fly ships in the game right now. So with that being said, it will be time to undock and let's have some fun with the Stratios. Now, flying the Stratios for exploration can be, I would say, a little bit safer than using the Astro, because usually if someone is camping one of the exploration sites, they're flying an Astro, they're flying usually a bomber. The bombers are actually really good for this purpose because they can instantly start locking the target once they decloak. However, a Stratios is also a very good choice for that purpose. Now, it is very rare that you will encounter other Stratios ships lurking in the exploration sites. Usually the ships that will be camping these sites are frigates. And since the Stratios can be quite difficult to kill targets, and after all it is a cruiser, a category or two categories above a frigate, so for a frigate, for a bomber, or for an Astro to kill a Stratios, that can be quite difficult. And you also have some very nice DPS to go along with the tank, so you can easily defend your ship from anyone who is camping these sites. Now, you could technically use a web or a scrambler instead of the red scanner, just in case you stumble upon someone who is camping the site, so that you can prevent them from warping, and you can get some pretty nice kills with this ship. And also, one important thing about the Stratios, its cargo hold is quite big. It has a larger cargo hold than the Nestor, and it also has a bonus on the cargo hold, so you will definitely not run out of cargo in your exploration runs, which is a good thing. Although the Astor also has a very nice cargo hold, but the Stratios is a cruiser and it has simply a larger cargo hold. Now there is a Balgorn within the system, and this is high sec. Now I'm very curious to see what this Balgorn is doing. I'll be paying the Balgorn a visit. Now most players initially don't really realize that they are in high sec, so when you warp to someone's mission, they will immediately start warping out, which is kind of funny because I can't really engage them. But you will see players still warp away if you decide to pay them a visit, even if it is high sec. Now I'll try not to kill anyone on this exploration journey, because this is a well, this should be a exploration video, but I think I'll be showing you some of the combats that I had with this ship. Now the Stratios is a frigate killer. There is no frigate that this ship can't kill easily. You should rely on stealth, and when you tackle a frigate, you should tackle them only when the frigate is very close to you, so that they can't run, and usually if you get webs on them and a scrambler, they are dead. Now let's see what this Balgorn is doing. I'm very curious to know what mission they are running. Oh, okay. Securing the shipping routes. So I think I did kind of stumble upon a high-sec island, but not really sure. There's a bunch of different systems in the game that are very interesting. And there are some systems that are usually quiet, but they offer some fantastic PvE opportunities. Lots of sites, lots of combat sites most of the time, and lots of very juicy missions. There are some systems that spawn very rare missions almost at every refresh. And there are
warp drive
a couple
active.
Players that know that, and I see those players usually around those regions, but I didn't give away the position. So I mean, there are definitely some very interesting systems within the game that are not inhabited, or that they have a low traffic. However, I'm very happy to see more and more players venturing to low sec. Usually the regions that used to be very quiet are not really that quiet now, and I'm very happy to see that, which means that there is some life in the deep parts of the game. And low sec, for the most part, is really relaxing. If you know where to go and when to go, it is honestly a very pleasant experience, and this is why I love to do exploration. You can find some awesome content within deep low sec that is usually uninhabited. However, again, happy to say that there is more and more players in low sec, and if you are a new corp, or if you're trying to find some peace and quiet, I definitely recommend that you check out some of the deeper low sec regions in the game, because you might encounter some, let's say, very interesting content there. Now I'm not hunting there. If I do start to hunt, you probably know, I mean that's just how it goes. But I don't really hunt very deep in low, because that's where I have the PvE opportunity to do exploration. Usually I do exploration, but with the Stratios I can just swap. If I find a target, I can swap the build and just go do some PvE and PvE at the same time, which is honestly a very good thing. And it allows, the Stratios allows you to do that very easily, because it can swap the builds
Autopilot
quite
engaged.
efficiently. Now one thing that we do need is the the station that you can deploy in space to refit will be very important for wormholes. That is something that we don't have in the game yet, but I believe it will be added, especially if you, let's say, roam around and if there's no station, you can just swap that structure out, change the build, pull the structure back in the cargo hold and continue where you were headed. Which is what I plan to do for wormholes. Again, at the moment, the idea of wormholes in this game does have the potential to be something very awesome. Now, let's do some actual PvP. Just a couple PvP kills, because why not? Now this is a drum mill, and I'll show you how to tackle a frigate. Now, the drum mill is a very tough to catch frigate. It is very fast, so you have to basically let the ship go towards you, calculate the time when the ship will make a full circle, and once it is close to you, then you click the decloak button or the cloak button, make warp drive on and approach to the drum mill, and I'll demonstrate how to do that. So you want to web the drum mill as quickly as possible. This works really well if you have targeting rigs. It will lock even faster with targeting rigs, so definitely the way to go. If you're planning to hunt with the Stratios, targeting rigs are definitely the way to go for the smaller targets. It can also work really well if you plan to camp exploration sites, because you want to lock the explorers as quickly as possible before they can warp out.
Warp drive active.
And in order to do that, you really have to have a very fast lock on time, and targeting rigs are the way to go to do that. You can also do the classic roam. The Stratios does have a very nice scanner, so it is not going to notify a lot of ships. And that's one of the traits of Sister of Eve. Now this was a very nice drum mill kill. It also had a scrambler. Usually they all have a scrambler, but once the drones are out, it is over, because the Stratios has some very scary DPS. Now, the next target here is a Sunensis. This Sunensis is inside of the exploration site, at least one of them. There's a couple of exploration sites, and they are
drive active.
Actually no, they are in a mission. All right. Well, I thought I was talking about a different Sunensis that I caught a couple weeks ago inside of a exploration site. They got stuck. You have to make sure that you never get stuck in the exploration. There is one map that is very tricky with the station. With the station that has all these different rotating parts, it has a very weird hitbox, so you can easily get stuck, and it hasn't been fixed for some reason. Not really sure if it even can be fixed, because it's just the way how the hitboxes work, unfortunately. But yeah, make sure that you never get stuck, because if you get stuck, it is bad news. Especially if you're exploring in a quite, let's say, traffic-packed low-sec system. In low-sec, it might not be that bad, because you can easily you will most likely have your own space where you will be doing some exploration. Usually that's what players do. And well, let's go to the next site now. When you have someone in local, you can easily find out what ship they're flying. Now, this signal is a Pelacruiser that is AFK on the gate. Now, in my case, when players see my name in local, they don't expect someone who is doing exploration. They expect someone who is looking for blood. That's usually how it goes. So, when I'm in low sec, usually if players recognize me, they leave the mission and they leave the system. So in my case, it isn't really necessary for me to be this careful, but I'm just showing you what you should do if you are doing exploration with your own ship. Because in my case, they see my name in local, they know this guy is hunting, this guy kills ships, let's not get in the way. So I'm mostly safe when I'm doing exploration, because the reputation they have is combat, not PvE. So kind of helps with what I like to do within the game, as it goes for PvE. And of course, my Stratios is combat ready. So even if I get tackled, I have 3,500 DPS, so I'm not really worried. And my drones are pretty fast, so yeah. Any frigate gets toasted, most of the cruisers get toasted. Only a very tanky ship might be a problem, but I'm not really worried about those, because usually a hunter that is camping exploration sites doesn't have tank. They have
autopilot
DPS.
engaged.
After all, you don't need to have tank if you're waiting for explorers to run exploration sites.
Warp
but
drive active.
There are probably some of the hunters who are actually using a tank build. Now,
warp drive
let me show you what I stumble upon here. Now we have two signals, and both signals are at the same spot, which is kind of funny because it means that someone is running a exploration site. Now, I just jumped in the system and didn't have time to change. I mean, I could change if I feel like it, but I just want to see what do we have in the. Oh, we have an Astor, but unfortunately, the Astor is 53 kilometers away from me. Now, if the Astor was just a little bit closer, it wouldn't be a problem. But there's a lot of structures around, and I came at the. I think I did arrive very late. The Astor seems to be finishing up, so yeah, this site is probably mostly looted. So the only thing that I can try to do now is to either kill the Astor or chase it away. Of course, I'll try to kill. However, I'm far away and they're using a micro warp drive. Okay, they're fast. So you can easily camp these sites, camp the most expensive box and just wait for them to come close to you. And then you tackle. But this what I'm doing here is not exactly the ideal situation because I was late and the Astor is already finishing up, so not really the best example, but you know, I'll just try to lock. Unfortunately, they saw me and they cloaked and they are already warping out. If I had targeting rigs, this Astra would have already been locked. So yeah, a little bit bad luck, actually. Not a little bit, a lot of bad luck lately, which is fine. I was just a little bit too slow. I mean, the speed of the Stratios is definitely not the best, but yeah. If I was faster, I would have been in the system and camping, and that Astra would have been toasted. Perhaps next time, we will see. I have a lot of plans with this ship. Or perhaps I might do some exploration with the Nestor. That would be hilarious. Did anyone do exploration with the Nestor? I think no one did so far, so I would be the first one. I would be the first one, and you know what? It's exactly what I'm going to be doing next.
Autopilot engaged.
I'll buy that Nestor, that's 9.8 billion. I'll fit it for exploration, and I'll go
drive
explore
active.
with it. I will do something very stupid, because why not? Let's have some fun. Why not? I will do it. Once I finish recording this video, a Nestor will be bought, and I'll be using it. After all, I do like the space blender, and I have skills for it, and I think it's going to be pretty hilarious to see that thing in action. So I'm actually excited for it now. Cannot wait for that video. Stay tuned, I guess. I'll be doing some very silly stuff, because that's what I do. I like to do silly stuff. Alright, well, what do we have here? A command tower. This is a data site. Lovely. Oh, I'm actually logged in the game. I forgot. Usually when I record, I pop the. I have the game running at the same window, because usually when I record there are juicy targets around. So in order to catch some ships, I have the game running, so I record, and at the same time I also voice the video. I used to voice the video while playing, but due to how things are going right now, I'm a little bit busy, so, and in order to, you know, make the voice quality good, I just add the voice later on, which does allow me to explain things a bit more in detail, especially since I do get distracted by a lot of things constantly. Bella ships, Nestor, let me just buy this thing, 9.8 billion. Well, whoever is selling that ship is about to be a very, very lucky pilot, because I'm buying his ship. And just like that, I have a Nestor now. Lovely. Well, I'll go to Ita to quickly set up a build for it. I'll be using it for PvP and I guess PvE. That's going to be fun. Cannot wait to see how the Nestor performs. I have a lot of theories with it that I'll be putting to practical use. The one thing that I don't like about Nestor is the fact that it can't really cloak, but I guess, you know, it is what it is, and it will be hilarious to see that thing in action. I got some pretty good loot here. Integrated trigger circuits. Now, in the next video I'll also do some manufacturing, because I have a lot of blueprints, I have a lot of materials.
Warp drive active.
I figured out that I could make a lot of ISK by manufacturing stuff. Manufacturing and industry isn't that bad if you know how to do it. I started to do a lot of manufacturing recently. I love it. I have been enjoying it quite a lot actually. And it's a very nice alternative way for me to get ISK. And since I do exploration, I will have almost a constant stream of ISK coming to my wallet with doing exploration almost every day. So that's going to be fun, I guess. That is going to be very, very fun. Okay, this is one more site. I think, yeah, this might be the last site for this video. We will see, because I know that my videos are a little bit long, and I apologize for that. But sometimes, when I'm editing and when I look at how the recording turns out, I usually try to make it, you know, not to be like an hour long. But in some cases, it is impossible to do that, because if I do cut some parts, it looks a bit weird, because it does remove a lot of key moments, and since every moment has its own. Every moment basically was important. That's the fact. That's a fact, and that's what's kind of preventing me from making it shorter than usual. But you know, trying my best over here. At least that's what I think. But I know that I can always do better, and I'm trying to do better every day. There's always room for improvement, and as long as there is room for improvement, I'll keep improving. That's a promise. So, how do I like the Stratios? Well, obviously, I like the ship a lot. It is a monster, honestly. Like, can be used for PvP, can be used for PvE. It has fantastic DPS, and it also has a fantastic use for exploration. I'm thinking, if I go to null, am I going to use a Stratios or not? I think I'll just go with an Nestor, because an Nestor is faster and more mobile, and it's a smaller ship, smaller targets, which means very hard to kill. So definitely, I'm looking forward to see what that brings. I mean, as I said in one of the last videos, we are making a lot of changes. There's going to be a lot of things changed within the corp, and the goal is to basically have more fun and to do more things. And we are setting everything up. It does take some time to get everything working, but
Autopilot engaged.
we will be there. We'll get there, no worries. any change is kind of rough at first, but once we get used to it, it's going to be smooth sailing. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this little run with the Stratios, and hope you enjoyed the little updates on the developer Q&A. Definitely, now I'm actually very curious to see what they are going to do with the anniversary, since new subcapitals, new smaller ships. I really hope that they do release wormholes, young new ships, since I think it might be happening, I don't know. But in any case, if you guys want to support me, feel free to like and subscribe, it helps out a lot. And with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.